Now looking at the Lusaka Stock Exchange, down in yesterday's trading session of with volume of 154 million US dollars. Banking stocks are continuing to receive a lot of interest on that front.
Yes, certainly. I mean, yesterday we had the Lusa Osha Index closing at 3,843, a drop of about 13 points from the previous day. Most of that drop was due to the 3.7% decline in the Standard Chartered Bank share price, which closed at 2.16 Ngwe. Now, the point you raised about banks actually being quite active. As we know, a few months ago, the Bank of Zambia requested that they raise their capital requirements, and they've done a number of things. Most of them have actually done bonus issues. As a result, there's quite a bit of liquidity in the share price. And if you look at the activity last week, almost 98% of all the shares that were traded were actually from banking stocks. And in fact, this year, the worst performers have been in the banking sector. You have Standard Chartered Bank, Zambian National Commercial Bank, trading 20% year to date. So you can actually see that the banking stocks have actually dominated the trading this year.
Another company which has been in the news is Puma Energy. We had them withdrawing a cautionary announcement last week, coming out with an announcement this week regarding the mandatory offer to minority shareholders. Could you kindly talk us through the deal between BP as well as Puma Energy?
Yes, Puma Energy, they announced recently the completion of the transaction to acquire 75% of the issued share capital of BP Zambia, and the requirement to make a mandatory offer to the minority shareholders. A quick background to this. Actually, the transaction was completed last year on 1st April 2011, subject to the finalization of the working capital adjustment. So the announcement that they made recently was that they'd actually made that adjustment and that they would actually send to the minority shareholders an offer document setting out the terms of the offer for their consideration. Now, as we know, they own 75%, but about 4 local pension funds own about 15% of the shares outstanding. And my opinion is that most of these will actually not sell because Puma is a very good stock. It has an attractive dividend policy, and to me, I think it's actually fairly undervalued based on their recent financial results. Yesterday, it closed at 1,145. It was the best performing stock in 2011, up nearly 257%, and year to date, it's flat. So I think it's a good stock. So we're all waiting for what the offer price will be.
We have seen big moves coming through from the kwacha. Could you kindly talk us through the kind of impact we have seen the strength of the kwacha having on the equity market?
Yes, as you are aware, the kwacha almost 2 weeks ago, for a few hours at least, was actually the world's best performing currency, reaching its highest level against the dollar in over a year. This was on the back of the law introduced in May 2012, restricting the use of foreign currency to settle domestic payments, thus pushing up demand for the kwacha. Since the start of June, the kwacha has appreciated against the dollar, reaching a 19-month high of 4,665 to the dollar on July 10, a gain of almost 10%. Since that time, it has retraced slightly, and yesterday it was at 4,873. The equity markets, on the other hand, have actually just registered a slight drop of only 0.7% during that time. But one thing that we can note is that there's been a net outflow from equities from foreign portfolio investors on the Lusaka Stock Exchange compared to the previous month. For instance, as of yesterday, for July, the net buying inflows into equities from foreign portfolio investors was about 157,000 US dollars. This compares to the net selling outflows of 770,000 US dollars, giving a net outflow of about 616,000 US dollars. This suggests to me that the foreign portfolio investors are taking advantage of the kwacha appreciation to lock in exchange rate gains in their portfolios.